How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of our brand new RimWorld series. Haven't thought of a name yet for the series. If you guys have an interesting name for it, leave that down in the comments below. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys subscribe, turn on notifications, and if you guys haven't already, leave a thumbs up on the video if you guys have been enjoying the series so far. Other than that, let's get right into starting a colony. So in the last episode, we picked a spot, we went through the creation of our pips, and so now we've finally landed on the planet. So this is actually a very interesting start. Very interesting, actually, indeed. I actually like this start significantly. This could be very, very good for us, or very bad, depending. Just kind of taking a look around the map. So usually you want to be centered in the map, or centered in the middle of the map. Right, so that makes you equidistant from all the possible entries of bad guys. Down here actually would not be a bad idea, though. I mean, I like up here because we're very protected, and we even have a geyser for power. Heck, even down here, though, is a geyser. Except then we have this big wall down here, and are these sleeping mechs? No. Various things. So we're actually in a pretty good spot already. Because in terms of what we have to do to defend, we really only have to build here. A little bit here in terms of defense. We'll probably actually put our choke point or something. Actually, I think what we'll do is we'll put the wall here, and then we'll make our choke point this area. And then we'll have entrance from the top and below. As for the bugs, because we do have some insects we're going to have to deal with, unfortunately, which are basically one of the many bad guys we'll have to deal with. I hope we can build. Can we actually build there? Let's go structure, wood. Ooh, unfortunately we cannot. Okay, that's not great, but it's fine. We'll build wood walls here. Hopefully we shouldn't get it. They shouldn't come from over here, even though that is out to the map. I believe they only spawn on edge tiles that are technically not inside a mountain, but we'll see. We could put just wall it off with 3 walls thick and then really barricade it up. But yeah, this looks actually really good. So when you're going to pick where you're going to build, one thing to note is you want to take a look at fertility in the ground, right? So where you're going to grow your crops. So there's a big section of very fertile grass over here, or dirt, and there's another section, not as big, but down here in the south. So that definitely influences where you're going to build. Now, if you aren't building in mountains like I am, you could, of course, build over here, right? You could wall this off, kind of wall over here off, and really build here for your farms. Now, I'm building in a more of a centralized, kind of defendable position, in my opinion. And so we don't really have any in here. But if you do, definitely use it, as it does help. But take note, it doesn't help on all of your crops. Only some of them. Only some of them are going to be more benefited. More benefited? It's only going to be more beneficial for some of your crops. Those being, I want to say it doesn't really benefit your potatoes really at all. Which your potatoes are basically your run-of-the-mill. We're going to run rice for a while until we can get corn growing. So let's go ahead and try to figure out where we want to build. So RimWorld is an active time game, right? It's like a real-time strategy game. So you have a timer. Well, not really a timer. It's not turn-based. You have a clock, effectively. You can pause it. Right now it's paused, so nothing's happening. You can go ahead and go 1 speed, 2 speed, 3 speed, really, really fast, right? So right now I'm just kind of taking a look around, trying to see what's going to be the best position for me to start building up. Luckily for me, the cave system over here is already pretty secluded. We are going to have to deal with this hive at some point. It is currently dormant, which is good. So we might be able to just light the whole cave system on fire and burn them that way. But I think for now what we'll do is we'll end up building a wooden wall here and then just a wooden wall here just to make sure our pips don't accidentally walk in there and end up dead. And then so with that walled off, we only have to worry about down here, which shouldn't be too bad. We could actually wall it off here just to get more of this cave system. We'll see about that, but we're definitely gonna want to fortify some of those things. I think what we'll do is we'll set up shop over here first in this kind of section of the map, because it looks like up here there's going to be a lot of caves we'll have to contend with. But if we start building here, it looks like just raw material. Now, take note, we did have caves, as you can clearly see, we have caves. There might be more caves in here that we don't see, right? So this is like fog of war. So we're gonna have to be careful, because we could, in theory, open up a large area just like this. Kind of like this area right here. We could open up a pretty big area just like it over here. And that could kind of be bad, as it could expose a large chunk of our base. So building in the mountains is a little bit problematic with that. So you just kind of got to take it by ear and be a little bit careful. But yeah, until we can get some weapons, especially until we can get some more pips who aren't non-violent, because right now we only have the ones, so we're going to be relying a lot on traps and just choke points. I think we'll take this area down here in the corner and make this. Let me just take a look, because I don't know. One of these, let's see. Yeah, terrain affordability. Okay, that's actually really good. So what I'm looking at right now is the terrain affordability. Basically, this blue means, you can actually see it kind of on the bottom left over here. So you can see what it says undiscovered. So if you hover your mouse over this, it tells you overhead mountain, tells you the walk speed, but it tells you there's shallow water here. So anywhere you see blue, or in the case of red, like mud, we can't build certain structures on top of it. But luckily for our case, we're good over here in the corner. So that's another one of those things you might want to toggle, just so you can see. You can also toggle pollution, but we don't have any here. But it lets you know if you will be able to build over here. And for our case, again, we will be able to. So what I like to do is I like to build in these little alcoves, just because. So there is no overhead mountain here. This is all outside. We could also build here that already has a roof, and we wouldn't need to do much. But the reason I'm going to be building in a cave to start with is because you already have most of the walls built, right? So you only really need to build a few more. And in this case, it already has a roof. Over here, we'd have to build one. Although this centralized location might not be a bad idea. Start building here, right? And then we could, honestly, we could wall this off and wall this off. You know, I think we'll do that, because then we could just expand into this, and then as we need, expand over here. Yeah, let's do that. I like that idea actually a lot more, now that I'm thinking about it. All right, so let's go ahead and just, I don't know, plan something out. I'm not going to immediately wall this whole area off and give my 3 little pips a whole bunch of work, because right now there's a lot of work we need to do to get this colony working, right? We need to get food, shelter, somewhere for them to sleep, some stuff like that. So for now, what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to go something like that. And then, for simplicity's sake, we'll just do something like that. And then do something like that. And then we'll of course, put our main entrance. Go ahead and just do door. Something like that. Awesome. So now we have a base, quasi base. So the next thing I want to do is kind of get some rooms going, although very generic rooms going. So at the top left, when you go ahead and click architect in the bottom left, you should start out on the orders tab. Orders are basically things your pips will do. So I'm gonna go ahead and have them cut any plants that are in this cave. I'm also gonna have them harvest any of the berry bushes or any of the medicine in the area. I'm also gonna have them chop a bunch of wood over here to the left. So we're gonna need it. So let's get them to chop some wood. And I'm also gonna have them mine a little bit as well while we're in here. Now take note, if you were to say mine all of this out, you could potentially have a cave in. So you're gonna wanna make sure you get pillars placed so you don't have that. But I am gonna go ahead and just cancel, because right now I'm not gonna focus too much on the design of the base as much as just getting something built, right? Because we want them to be able to sleep. So your next tab is called zone. These are where you can put things. So for instance, a dumping stockpile is where all your like extra stone's gonna go, all your garbage is gonna end up. So we're just gonna do a pretty big one like that. That probably won't end up being big enough, but for now it's fine. Then we'll do a stockpile. So we need somewhere for them to put their stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put it Really doesn't matter anywhere. I'm gonna go ahead and just have them put it all there. Oh, structure, door, there. And then let's go ahead and do some furniture. So we need some beds. So let's go ahead and just make some wooden beds. Doesn't really matter where we put them. We'll just do something like that. And we do want to go ahead and get some lights for in here. So let's go ahead and just get... For now, just some torches. Let's go ahead and get them a table. So they have somewhere to eat at. It's not entirely bad. Now let's also go ahead and get them some recreation, as they are going to have some psychological needs they're going to want to take care of. So let's go ahead and just address that with our furniture. Go ahead and make them a chess table. And then I also want to go ahead and, for recreation, there's known as what is a horseshoe pin. It's really nice because it's just a cheap little thing you can throw down really anywhere. So let's go throw it right there. Another thing I want to get made for them is production. So under production, I want to get them a butchering table. So because it's technically outdoors right now and bad temperature, it's going to say, hey, the work speed is not going to be great here. Kind of want to fix that, but don't worry, we are going to be getting it inside. Another thing we want to go ahead and get is a stove. Well, the problem with the stove is we want to make sure the area is clean. For now, I'm going to just put it there. It is going to use up some steel, but that's fine. And we're going to want to make sure this area is kept clean. Another thing we want to, of course, get is some research going. Again, we can go ahead and really put this anywhere. You don't have to have necessarily a path, so I could put this right here, and they'd be able to walk right through the chair. It's fine. But just a little bit of aesthetics, I guess. We'll just go ahead and put it right there. And then let's go ahead and do some furniture. Let's go ahead and give them a chair, so that, you know, they don't have to stand there while they do things. And then let's see. For ideology, let's go ahead and throw down a ritual spot, as they are going to want to go ahead and have it. I guess we'll just throw it anywhere inside. And then, yeah, so let's go ahead and do structure. Let's get some wood walls. Now let's go ahead and do some security. What these traps will do is they'll just help protect us in the event that there are raiders. Awesome. Let's go ahead and deconstruct. And so all these little things that are marked with a red X are things that we dropped with. Now, we should take note that these things are items that... The reason they're marked red is so if you're starting on a harder place or a harder difficulty, it's so that way you don't immediately start focusing on doing that over just trying not to die immediately. So of course we can go ahead and hit our orders tab and just mass allow things, and I'm okay with them grabbing things. And there'll be some things scattered around, I believe, yeah. So down here some survival meals I saw. I think there were some other things. Unfortunately, we can't fix these cars, but they are good for scrapping, which is something to take note, is some of the things around the map you're going to want to be scrapping just to more or less get more steel and just other more resources. And kind of as we go, I'll show that off and hopefully explain anything. Okay, I think that's everything for now. Awesome. We do have a nice little hamlet here kind of queued up. So let's go ahead and unpause for a little bit. Oh, the rest of them drop. Let's go ahead and allow things. Who is our fighter? Not you. I believe the chef. Yes, the chef is, ironically. So let's go ahead and force wear the flak vest. Force wear that. I thought there were pants. Yes. Force wear and then force equip the bolt action rifle. Alright, and so we're just going to put it on 1 speed while they do that, and then we're going to go ahead and look at the work tab, because this is the next important tab. So I immediately recommend you turn on manual priorities, And then I also recommend you turn firefighter, patient, and doctor to 1. So, how this works is things on the left are higher priority than things on the right. But also, the way the numbers work. So 1 is things that are going to get done first, and 4 things that are going to get done last. So you can think of it almost like in a 2D grid. So, for instance, firefighting with a 1 is going to be prioritized above everything else. But a firefighting with a 2 is going to be not prioritized first, but patient will be because patient has 1. I also want bed rest, because that's also another important one. Well, I want it to be a 2. If the other 3 things are fine, check it. Childcare is fine for now. To stay a 3, basics a 1 as well. Warden's a 1, handles a 1, cook is a 1. You're a 2, hunting is less priority. Everybody construct if you have nothing else. And something to take note is if they can be assigned it, they'll have a square. If they cannot be assigned it, for in the instance of, let's see, Doc and Christian, they cannot hunt. Christian can also not cook. And then Chef here cannot grow or plant cut. So we can't even assign them to it. Now, if they're bad at it, they might not be assigned it at all. And if their skill is low enough, they're going to have a red box around it. Basically meaning they're very bad and they probably shouldn't be doing it. But sometimes you have to have them do it. And then I want everybody to pretty much mine. Nothing else. You be our smith, you be our tailor, you be our artist. And we'll tune this more as the colony gets going. For now, this is fine. If you really want to tweak it and, you know, really go very specialized, then by all means. But art's actually, these things are very low priority in my opinion, for at least for now. So we'll go 3s. I do want hauling and cleaning to happen pretty frequently. Eventually we'll have more dedicated people as we get more people, but right now with only 3, we do have to focus on those things. Another thing to note is we have schedule. So for those of you who've seen or played Prison Architect, or really any other game with a scheduler, basically we get to determine, hey, do we want certain people working at certain times a day, whether it's because they're nocturnal or whether because we just have a lot of people and so we might want some resting, some some working, just break it up as you get more people. We also have what is known as an assign. So basically we get to determine field construction. So the assign tab basically lets us know, hey, here's what somebody can use. So if they have a dependency on smoke leaf, which is a drug, or something else like alcohol, well, we could say, hey, you will exclusively consume this item. Or if we have somebody who, say, doesn't like fancy things, well, we could restrict them to only the simple food, because they will still eat the more expensive items. Let's see what else. Oh, animals. We can see what so we have Bart. Bart is a cat. You do get 1 pet. We can also go ahead and see the wildlife and see all the animals on the map and see whether or not we can tame them. And what happens if we do try to tame them. We can also go ahead and see the chance we will be attacked. We can also see who are predators. There are quite a bit on the map. We can also go ahead and look at our research tab. I'm going to go ahead and queue up tree. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and queue up batteries first, as I think that's probably the most important research to first get. The next thing is quest. We don't have any. And then, of course, our world tab that you can go back to and see the world. I think that's it for tabs. Yes. Oh, I just realized. Oh, no. He's building the trap. I was like, oh, no, did I lock them in? No, he's building a trap. What this does is, because the pathfinding of people is pretty generic, actually, they're gonna, eventually once all the walls are built, they're gonna go all the way up, walk through, get damaged, walk through, get damaged, walk through, eventually die, and it just means we don't have to actively fight anything, which is really good for us. Let's go ahead and just order the chopping of some trees here. Let's see, what is everybody doing? Chef, I do want to try to get these done. I also want these beds done, please. Because I would like to get the people beds. So let's go ahead and try to at least get started on these things. We should have plenty of wood. Yeah, so if their construction skill is low enough, they will do what is known as botching construction, which isn't great because it means they waste resources. When you're just doing it on wood, it's fine because you should have plenty of wood, unless of course you're building like in the desert or something. And then you're going to definitely want only your skilled people to build the things. However, right now I'm okay with wasting some wood. Plus they do need to level up, and the best way is for them to, you know, work on simple things, because I don't want him to be building like solar panels or geothermal generators or more expensive items that if they fail, it will be quite costly for us. Right? So, the only way to get better is by practice, right? Because practice makes improvement, not perfect. Let's go ahead and work on your own bed, because, yeah. Also, take note, the reason we want our stockpile indoors and not just anywhere is because items outside will slowly deteriorate and eventually be destroyed. So we don't want to leave all of our stuff outside. We want it to, you know, be brought in, want it to be safe, and so on and so forth. So we're slowly getting our little dining room going, which is good. And we do have these torches. We're going to want to get power going. Oh, I forgot the other major important thing we need to do. Farming. I kind of touched on it actually, but I don't think enough. So as you can see, we can just do a zone, but notice not everywhere can be farmland. There are optimal zones for like ratios of, oh, this is how much zone you should have, how many people you have. I'm gonna go ahead and do 10, a 10 by 10 of just rice. Rice is the fastest growing plant. So you can go ahead and look here and click the little I when you, so you click P, you click the little I for information, and you can go ahead and see how much nutrition does it give, how many days does it take to grow, what is the fertility, some other nice stats, depending if you're playing in a much harder area, because you will need to know what these are, depending on, because you won't be able to grow plants everywhere, and you won't be able to grow every plant everywhere. Luckily, all the plants will be able to grow here for us. We can also see the lifespan, we can also see the flammability, and we can also see the outdoor beauty. Some of these things don't really matter to us. The main thing we want to look at is nutrition and grow time. And so we can see it has a pretty low nutrition, but it grows very quickly. Compared to corn, which has a much, much higher nutrition, but takes 4 times as long, almost 4 times as long to grow. So on one hand, you have a better item that is more nutritious, but you have something that takes much longer to grow. So when you're having the corn is definitely what you want to be growing. However, potatoes, go ahead and take a look at potatoes. Potatoes are kind of your middle ground. They take about 6 days, and you get about 0.25 food. Well, you do get 0.25, not about. Which is pretty good, right? It's better than the rice, but not quite as good as the corn. Now, there's also what is known as nutrifungus, which does take 6 days, and is growable in caves. So, if you happen to be growing in, I don't know, caves, could be pretty good. Now, of course, we could go ahead and set the fungus farm up as a secondary food source. Again, it's up to you what you want to do. But I'm going to go ahead and just do rice, as it's very fast right now, and at least until we can get more dedicated things going. I am going to go ahead and also get a corn plot going, because, so corn, you don't have to spend as much labor on it, and that's another thing you might want to consider too, depending on what food source you want to have. So rice grows much faster, which is good, because you're going to have a lot of food. However, you have to spend more labor on it. You have to plant it more often, you have to collect it more often, you have to haul it more often, versus corn, which is more nutrient dense, so you only have to grow it, you have to grow it a lot less, you have to harvest it a lot less, and you have to haul it a lot less. So it does become cheaper. So I'm going to do 1 rice, 1 corn. The rice is to sustain me, the corn is to be the long term. Now I'm also going to go ahead and just do a small 7x7 of heel root. Heel root, so we don't currently have anybody who can grow this, unfortunately. However, eventually we will. And heel root is basically your organic medicine. So let's go ahead and just do another little 7x7. In this one, we're gonna go ahead and grow. We're gonna go ahead and grow a little bit of cotton. The cotton is so that we can build clothing. Well, craft clothing, I guess, not build. So those are our little bit of farms, and of course, as we expand, we will expand our farms as well. So, I think we're ready to continue to unpause. Awesome. Alright, so that actually is looking really good. Alright, so right now they are sleeping. So as you play, you're going to get little announcements over here on the right-hand side. So right now it says, hey, we need a research bench. We're not researching anything. We have a researcher, but we're not doing anything with that. Well, we have it queued, which that's going to take some time. So I'm going to right... So if you right-click it, or left-click it, it's going to bring you to it. So warm clothes, it says, hey, we need warm clothes, and it tells you, hey, at least 2 of your colonists are cold as shit. We need some clothes, or you need to fix the temperature. So it helps. It also tells us what the temperature is outside. So, of course, we can go ahead and hover our mouse inside versus outside, and because everything right now is outside, it's 40 degrees Fahrenheit. You can also have the, I believe it's defaulted to Celsius. For anybody who is in Europe or anywhere else that is using Celsius, you can of course keep it in Celsius, but I have it on Fahrenheit. And then it of course tells you what the month and year is. It also tells us, hey, it's permanent summer here. So it's basically Florida. So we don't have to ever worry about, again, like I said, we are playing a very middle ground, very easy start. I just want to kind of show off the game. Then as we progress, maybe the next series we'll do will be more of a difficult one. Maybe we'll build in the tundra or do mechanoids in the desert or something. We'll see. But definitely, if you guys have any suggestions for what the next RimWorld playthrough should look like, by all means, leave that down below. Or if you guys have any other, like any modded suggestions, I haven't done a whole lot of modded. RimWorld is surprisingly a game I've played and I've always had a big interest in, but I've never played a lot of it. Simply because, I actually really don't know why. There are some more nuanced things, by the way, we'll take a look at with food. For instance, let's take a look at this one. We can also grow strawberries, which you can eat raw. People are okay with eating them raw. Same thing with the wild berries. However, to make strawberries, actually we could do strawberries. I'm gonna grow strawberries. We're gonna grow a variety of things, because just like in real life, you're gonna want a mixture of things to be consumed. Luckily, our guys are getting things done. I want this wall to get done, and I'm gonna feel a lot safer once it is. I just want to get these walls done as well, but they're not as big of a priority. I want to get the big gap. I also want to get this area filled, but there's so much you need to do at the start. It's quite insane, actually. Let's go ahead and actually put an order for build a roof over this area. So what they're going to do is actually build a roof over a timber shroom. Where the hell did I try building? Oh, right here. Yeah. So that's gonna make this more of an inside. It's not quite indoors just yet, but soon. We're getting there. Alright, well with that, I think we're in a place to put in a cut. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, make sure you guys leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you guys haven't already, go check out episode 0. That's where we kind of go over the beginnings of RimWorld. And just the setting up of the colony along with the seed and all those fun things. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye-bye.